So I decided not to respond to this comment on my live stream. So I'll just make a short video because everybody know I like a good back and forth. But really, if you want to have discussions like that, I have a whole different channel. I want to respond to this comment right here, and another comment that I can't find right now, but I remember it. First one from Crimson Wolf 9572 said, historically, the whites, including their butt licks, whether they're blacks or non-whites, have used words as a means to harm others, particularly blacks. Now, let me stop right there. Like, give me an example. You need examples. Now, I don't know how old you are, but I assume you're kind of young. So take this as a learning lesson for yourself on how to debate. You always give examples. If you can't find any examples, don't make the statement. Because you set yourself up to be trumped by a counter argument that uses examples, details, and specifics. This comment you left is extremely vague, and I suspect you meant to be vague so that you could sound like you knew what you were talking about and sound like you were right, and people reading it think, oh yeah, that's true, I understand what he's saying, but you're not giving any examples from an actual video that I recorded. You see, when I have content and videos up, you are then challenged to get the exact quote. I want to see it in quotations. You have to be specific. Let's continue. Okay, now, one more thing. When you say that they've used words as a means to harm other races, are you talking about racial slurs? Because that's the first thing that popped into my head when I read that. And that is a statement that you should have not made. Because the argument is whether or not a white person is racist, even though they say the exact same thing that a black person says. Okay, so you have to be talking about racial slurs. But if a white person used racial slurs, everybody knows they're racist. They're basically confessing to everybody around them, yeah, I'm racist. So I'm interested to see you give an example of this. They've used words as a means to harm people, other races, words other than racial slurs. Now, I know they use coded language and stuff like that, but that does not go under anybody's radar. They're little coded language, code words, DI, BLM, what's that other one? Critical race theory. How they will talk in a way to sort of mask and hide what they really want to say, but actually say what they really want to say or get that point across by saying it in a politically correct, socially acceptable way. But that does not get past anyone. I don't think anybody's oblivious to that stuff. Some people might make excuses for it, but they don't act like they're unaware of it. So please elaborate, okay? If you're going to have a back and forth, if I'm going to honor your posts, you're going to have to be specific. Give examples. And it has to be related to the examples I gave in the video. As a matter of fact, better yet, take exact quotes from that video and respond to them directly. You go on to say that the way white people use language differs from others. Again, you're being vague and not specific. Like, what are you talking about? And the only thing you could be talking about is their coded language. How they try to mask their racism behind socially acceptable phrases, but when it's obvious what they're trying to say. But that goes past nobody. You say blacks don't have a history like that. And that's true. We don't have words that are meant to be derogatory to describe other groups of people. And let me tell you something else. These other groups around the world, who have developed words specifically to describe us, Akata, Jareer, etc. Those people, I'm telling you now, are carbon copies of white racists. For whatever reason, this is just what it looked like. They admire white racists. They look at white racists as gods, not just white racists. They look at white Americans specifically. White Americans as gods. I'm telling you, all around the world, this is the case. And I'm going to prove it even more on the next live stream. So they came up with words after hearing whites calling us niggas. That's what they're doing. And it doesn't go under anybody's radar. We all know it, so this is why I'm confused and asking you to elaborate. You're not being specific for a reason. You don't give examples. For example, I give you an example of what I'm talking about. If, say for a Becky in a room full of people mixed race, and they ask her, Becky, would you ever date or marry a black man? If she said no, many black people would believe in their hearts that she's a racist. Some whites will also believe that she's a racist. Whether or not they verbalize it is irrelevant. But you have no legitimate argument to accuse her of being racist. And it's ridiculous. You have no grounds, if you ask me, because people prefer to date within their race exclusively most of the time. Most of the time. And that's with all groups. All groups date within their same, it's a natural instinct. But that's a case where a black person is being oversensitive. Don't act like or pretend as if sometimes blacks don't wrongfully accuse whites of being racist. It happens all the time. And sometimes your accusation or suspicions are valid. Like if they do something that it's unreasonable. Say a white person who's less qualified, let's say 5, 6 white people less qualified, all get promoted over you. Let's say you've been there longer. Even though they never use a racial slur or nothing, you have the legit right to suspect or even believe that racism plays a role. But in some cases, you really don't have justification. So I want examples. Just like I'm here giving examples, you're going to have to elaborate. One is this statement right here. What kind of words are you talking about? Again, if you mention racial slurs, you failed. You can't mention racial slurs. And also the coded language, I think everybody knows. Everybody catches on to it. They may not say or call them out on the spot, but everybody catches on to it. And this statement, this is basically the same thing. The way they use language differs from others. Give examples. I want examples. Don't tell me you can't think of no examples. And don't come with another vague statement like, and this is why I'm responding to you. Because you tried to position yourself as some type of superior intellectual thinker, even though I think you're younger than me. And it sounds like you need an actual channel where you can speak. That's the best form of communication. And I don't know why you don't produce content, but you don't produce content. Because you made an attempt to have a discussion, is what you actually did, whether you know it or not. And you should have started the discussion off by asking questions so you don't misinterpret or misunderstand my position. Okay? And that's on you to do, because you didn't even respond to anything directly that I said. You're supposed to put whatever I said in quotations and make sure I demand you quote me word for word. Word for word. Don't do no twisting. Okay? Give me a timestamp as well. Put a timestamp and what I said word for word in quotations and respond to it. If you're going to use the comment section as a platform to speak your thoughts. Because here's the final paragraph. Said, given that you're nearing 50, one might expect you to be aware of this. Sir, don't flatter yourself. I get it. You feel like you made a deep statement right here, but it's not impressive and it's not effective. This is a very weak argument. I shouldn't have to ask you to elaborate or give examples or ask you exactly what you're responding to, especially when I make hour-long live streams. If you're going to challenge me in a debate, do not be vague, be specific. He said, given that you're nearing 50, we'd expect you to be aware of this. However, I've learned that all blacks have their moment of realization at some point. So you're saying I haven't realized something? Again, don't pretend like blacks don't sometimes wrongfully accuse whites of racism. Please don't be on that. Oh, blacks are angels, never do nothing wrong, never say nothing wrong, never make mistakes. Don't get on that preacher, a lot of popular YouTubers get on that. That's unrealistic to me. And that reminds me of that churchianity nonsense. Just stop with that. It happens all the time. And it irks me. Black person, it's because I'm black. It's because I'm black. When you have no legitimate, they said nothing about you being black. And you have no grounds. If people who are more qualified than you and have more experience of getting promoted, and then you say, it's because I'm black. No. Whether or not you even had a legitimate right to suspect racism is based on their qualifications versus yours. See, again, you sound like a kid because you don't have no content at all. And the only thing you got here is a video game, arcade. You're a young person. Okay, so take this as a learning lesson. I'm not trying to roast you, but I'm trying to show you how you need to up your debating skills if this is what you want to venture into. So tell me also what I haven't realized. I haven't realized what? That white racists speak in coded language? Okay, hey, knock yourself out. Now I'm telling you, it looked like you're facing an uphill battle. Said, when that happens, they either accept reality or continue to. Oh, you saying that I'm bowing and scraping and tap dancing? Again, you're going to have to be specific. Take the quotes, put them in quotations, and timestamp. And if you have to, mention what I said before and after that to give further context. You're going to have to break that down to me because it sounds like you're one of those people who speak as if blacks make no mistakes. That's unrealistic. Everybody makes false assumptions and mistakes. Black Americans do deal with a degree of trauma. Anytime you have a degree of trauma, there's going to be sometimes you're going to accuse others of being racist when you don't have legitimate grounds to. You see how I'm describing black people as normal, natural, realistic people. And it sounds to me like you're not. As if you ever say that blacks make a mistake, then you're tap dancing. Stop with that. Y'all got to be more thorough than that, flat out. And he said, it's clear to see what path you've chosen. Okay, good luck, bruh. And let me finish with this. I don't think you know who I am. Dude, I'm very well respected on YouTube when it comes to discussions like this. I've been doing it since 2007, non-stop. Best of luck to you.